All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the co-founded podcast. My name is Ethan. As always, I am accompanied by my esteemed colleagues, Matt and Josh. Matt, we'll start with you. How are you on this fine afternoon?
I'm doing pretty good. I was on vacation last week, but I'm back at it. Back at work this week, ready to get back. I thought I missed a lot, didn't miss too much, and I'm back at it.
Signs we should get off the internet, of course. Nice and refreshed. Josh?
Refreshed.
Well, Josh, first, how are you doing? We have a lot to talk about with Josh, actually, today. But Josh, how are you doing first?
Doing excellent. I'm doing excellent. Feeling great. Feel good. I was also off, and now I feel good again.
Yeah, so it's apparently vacation season. I'm taking vacation tomorrow. Josh and Matt were just on vacation themselves. Josh got married a couple weeks ago. That was a big thing. So we were all together in the lovely.
Yeah,
So I'll just do
so far behind.
in the lovely city of Denver. Just a fantastic wedding, by the way, Josh. We didn't even
it was fantastic.
Pre-recording. We didn't even talk about your wedding. What a time! What a time to be with everyone from school. This is great. I suppose I only talk to you so much because you don't really talk to the bride and the groom at their weddings. You know, maybe for a few minutes. Talk to you briefly at various moments in time. But how was your wedding from your perspective? Did you have a blast? I hope you had a blast.
We did, actually. We did. And it was great that you guys were both there and all the boys. It was really sweet. It was
lovely.
really sweet. We had our optimal experience, honestly. There was very few notes, as we were talking about it afterwards, anything we would have changed. Very few
Love
things,
that.
only minor stuff. So it was
I gotta say,
perfect.
I saw you guys both eat the food, which is insanely rare for a wedding.
Yep.
I saw you guys eat and talk to everyone. And I was like, wow, you guys are actually talking and eating. I was like, that's crazy. It was actually very chill.
It was kind of wild.
Cool.
It was brief interactions. You guys kind of experienced it from your side, but we did get to at least interact with everybody, for a little bit, which was kind of
brief,
our goal
but meaningful.
going in. Yeah. It was
Great
our whole
qualifier
goal
there,
going
Matt.
in.
Yeah.
And it just kind of worked out great. I didn't know how that would go, but it was ideal.
Except for when you got cold feet and ran away. That was a little.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
a little dramatic.
Couldn't find him. Couldn't find him in the
down
garden.
That very narrow aisle. It was very extended running away.
Yeah, so because weather in Denver is very bipolar, you never know what you're going to get until basically the minute arrives, into which you have to do something. So Josh had to move a couple things around at his wedding. So it was in a beautiful setting. The Botanic Gardens were gorgeous, but yes, you had a very slim and very long ceremony.
Very long.
And so it was walking down. I think it took Nicole about 12 minutes to walk down the aisle.
Yeah.
So the anticipation was unbelievable.
They did 3 loops of the song. They just kept looping it.
Just kept looping it. She kept going and going. And she was trying to move too, but it was,
sweating by the time she made it to the
At some point she's just running. It's all right.
When you got to cover a half mile to get to the altar, these are just the realities of what you have to do. And then my other favorite part is, since you had to move parts of the reception, well, a couple things. One, the single dinner table I think was awesome. The single really long dinner table. I actually thought
the banquet table was
table was sweet.
Really fun.
Awesome.
All in on that. And then moving kind of the dancing and after party reception, whatever, inside into kind of the Botanic area was also sick. But it was great because there was all these plants around, so the vibes were fantastic, and the waterfall and everything. But I mean, if you went too hard on the dance floor, you could just slap a cactus. And I know from experience.
Dude, Corey at one point literally took a cactus straight to the forehead when he was dodging her.
Yeah. So good. I've never been to a reception with natural elements like that. It's just good stuff. Gosh,
it was awesome.
Incredible.
It was awesome.
That is
man.
Great story.
Yeah. So anyways, congratulations, Josh.
Congrats to Josh. Yeah. Big claps all around.
You.
Big golf claps all around for Josh. Very excited. And Nicole too, I guess. Good for her to get married as well. So we love that. All right. Anyways, enough of the hoopla. Let's get right into the agenda this week. All right, I'm gonna go 2 items down. I'm gonna start with just a great email I received that I'm gonna pull up. So basically, my family likes to frequent a, brewery here in Los Angeles, and someone who was often at that brewery. There's a food vendor, basically a barbecue food vendor, and I'm on his email list and stuff because I've got him a bunch of times.
Oh,
Basically,
humble
like
brag.
he's been, yeah, as much as it is where when you buy and just Square just signs you up for his emails without even asking. Um, so basically, he's just been doing pop-ups now. He actually hasn't been to the brewery for a little bit, but he sends these emails. These are awesome. Like this is all like I freaking love it. It's all in like 48 point font, but it's just paragraphs of stuff. And he's been talking about how he's like going to end his venture basically from pop-ups and catering. And he's been teasing this for a while to the point where I'm like, I can't believe this guy's still going for it because he's been saying he's going to end this in a while. He keeps saying this might be the last one, this might be the last one. He keeps doing it. And it says, again, in 48 point font, bold, this is a very, very long email. You got to scroll and scroll. It's like, if you want to know why I'm no longer doing the barbecue business, because I have an AI startup business that I've been working on since December and I need to spend most of my time to get going. So in this day and age, we are losing our barbecue vendors to AI. And I think we have I'm officially calling it, we have a
Wow.
problem. Because when I can't get the barbecue that I want because of AI, I officially have beef with just AI in general. So that
Yeah,
that
so
was
when they
my
said
two.
we're losing
Good
jobs to
pun though. Can
AI,
I
yeah,
just
This is what
highlight
I'm
that
talking about.
pun that he has beef with the barbecue vendor? That was good.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
That's
No
good.
pun intended.
okay, that's pretty good. That might be the
Yeah, that's
episode
pretty
title,
good.
All
Yeah.
right.
actually. But yeah, laying
Um,
it, I did not know that like, losing jobs to AI would mean like people just moving from barbecue to AI. It's because now they're
I
all
know it's
software developers. That's crazy.
It's
I know.
people
So we needed to
losing
come back
their
around,
own people losing their own job by quitting their job to go
Yeah,
work on an AI startup.
start their own thing. Yeah,
Yeah. Which is
yeah.
it's just good stuff. So that was one of my
Oof.
favorite, very personal across the wires this week. So,
Did you
and of
check out
course he
the
kind of pitches
idea?
what he's doing. No, because he didn't even, I don't think he listed the name or anything.
Oh, okay, because
But
that would have been cool.
he's just talking about how the business world's going to change dramatically in the next 2 years with AI and
True.
robotics. And he's like, if you own a business, you need AI help, like reach out. So, a little bit of a pitch in there. But
Maybe
anyways,
he's
we're
doing
losing
like
we're losing our
barbecue
barbecue.
robotics. That'd be sick.
I mean, the automatic
That would be
barbecue
cool.
via
Yeah,
AI or something.
that would be cool.
I think that losing this barbecue is kind of all about soul. So if you just did barbecue AI, I feel like that's a massive juxtaposition. But truly, who could say?
Wow,
Um. Anyways, so I think that's my first great thing across the wire.
that's pretty good.
To talk about. Moving on, laying off AI and layoffs. Maybe we get to that one in a second. Josh, let's pivot over to you so we can talk about something that I didn't bring up. But you have OpenAI noting with a 4 billion consulting company. Uh,
Yeah.
what's going on there?
I feel like
I
that
read about it,
kind
but
of
yeah,
kind of like dovetails into the whole thing of like quitting barbecue and then you are going to go start an AI startup. It feels like AI is a solution looking for a problem. And my read
mm,
on that is like
oh,
they're
yeah,
literally starting a consulting company to go figure out what can AI actually do because it I'm starting to feel like the chat GBT chatbot wave has almost come and gone where like people are using it for some things but less things now. They're not like living in chat GBT all day and these companies trying to catch up to these just crazy high valuations that they have. They're already close to a trillion valuation, which puts you like close to where Meta is at. And Meta
yeah,
owns Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, like
yeah. All the
products that
other stuff.
literally the
Yeah,
entire internet world uses every single day. And then you're trying
yeah.
to tell me that like this is going to be worth the same amount. So that's my read on that move. I don't know if you guys have a different reaction. I guess Ethan, if you want to kick it off, like what's your
Well,
reaction?
yeah. Is it like making like hedging their own future? Like if no one knows how to use their tools and products, then there's no one to use their tools and products. And so it's almost like a double, it's like we need to like we can also profit off of that too. Like we can profit off the consulting, and it ensures that our products are fully integrated into people's day-to-day businesses, et cetera. And so, it feels like it's only beneficial for them. Because yeah, if they have, if nothing ever catches on really, then they'll just be kind of on a slow demise. But if obviously they can help people get it integrated to where it's like a piece of their system that they can't live without, so I feel like in a sense it's like it's almost looking 5 years ahead or more, and saying like we actually have to help people get on board with this, and then also we can do it ourselves and make money off of that too. So it feels like cyclical in that way, but that's kind of what I figured, at least when I was reading about it. But
Yeah, I like that take. I feel like that is the like the positive side of it. I was kind of looking at it on the negative side of like they're just trying to figure out what to do with all this money that they've raised. But that does
yeah,
make
well, I don't know if it's
sense.
positive or not, but it's something
It's
sort of for
interesting,
their own
like
business. But
if that is the play, it's so different than like software where it was all these different companies trying to figure out different verticals. Whereas AI almost feels like there's two companies and then they're trying to figure out
Mhm.
every single vertical. And of course, there's like smaller
Yeah,
companies that are raising money too, but it's so concentrated. I don't
yeah.
remember a time where that's happened before.
Well, and that's an interesting rabbit hole that I think we could go down, is like, have we seen another industry where there's just two absolute conglomerates just owning everything so quickly? And then that's like kind of it. I mean, of course, combine it with, the other tech giants that have their own systems, a la Google, et cetera. But um, I feel you could talk about, that's an interesting rabbit hole to go down, of like, yeah, usually the competition, there's a lot of fierce competition and then a couple companies emerge after a while, but it feel like it just went zero to just like, all right, two or three,
Yeah, I
and then
think
that like
even
work it,
social media would be the closest, but even there, they didn't start at the same time, like the exact same. Like
yeah.
they didn't reach
Hmm.
prominence at the same time. Like Facebook, like MySpace, kind of had its time, and then everyone kind of went to Facebook, and then then people went to now Instagram, Snapchat, that type of stuff.
Yeah,
So I think they've all had their own time where they were dominant or like the main industry leader. And I think like this is
yeah.
I don't know of a time in which at the exact same time like two companies are just
Well, and
going
getting to
crazy.
ridiculous valuations too. I mean, now like think about the most recent massive social media company in TikTok. That's like is there even room for, I mean, I'm sure there is, like business is business and companies is companies, where like, is there room for a company to be started in 3 or 4 years and like raise to like a level of social media prominence like TikTok has against
Yeah.
Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, etc. You need some sort of unique angle, but I'm curious if there's even catch up space at this point,
Yeah.
or if it's, I mean, maybe it all levels out. I think it will, like all things in life, I think it will eventually, like, makes it easier to catch up, but um yeah, I don't know.
I think in my opinion it'll be centered around like specialized AI for stuff that will like come as the preferred model or the preferred thing, like specialized for a very specific task. And then those could balloon into like, then they go into more verticals and more verticals. But this kind of dovetails into the original conversation, which is like, I find this pretty fascinating, like the OpenAI stuff, because if you have you guys seen their advertising recently on both like TV and billboards and stuff?
Yeah, I've seen the
It's
billboards around. Yeah,
very much like human story centric about empowering humans to like start. I think the one that I keep seeing is like someone asking how to start their own restaurant or something and get all the
yeah,
details about the restaurant. It's very
or
like
a gym
heartwarming
routine
and
or
like,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's very like
really trying to
human
create that image.
centric.
Yeah,
Yeah, human centric, very much like empowering message. But it's a very specific niche that they're advertising. It's like, oh, if you're someone who wants to start a restaurant, then like this is the tool for you. But that's not the end message. The message is like, basically be empowered to do whatever. But I think it's really fascinating that I think they are going to have to find like, what do people use this for, or what will people pay to use this for? Because that's the important thing, is like, I think you're right, Josh. I agree with you. I think the novelty of knowing everything you've ever wanted to know just by typing it in is wearing off. People are just used to it now. It's like, okay, if you want to know something, if you want to know how to do anything in the entire world, just look it up on ChatGPT. Cool. And it was fun for a long time. Now it's just like a known thing. So it'll be really interesting to see like how they brand it and how they start selling it to be these very niche pro things, because you can't just be, hey, we're the thing for everything. It's like, well, okay, well, what is that messaging, right? So I thought it was interesting that their advertising is very much like niche based, because their product isn't right now. Their product is very like broad. So I don't know. That's the tactic. I think this makes sense that they're exploring how to use AI or like where to go sell it, because yeah, just saying, well, we do everything for everyone is like, okay, cool.
Well, because
That's
that's
not
the
something someone will
experience
buy.
that you have, right? With on the engineering side, I think you all use Claude, right? Like your whole team is using
Hmm.
Claude all the time.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. We bounce around between like Cursor and Claude, but primarily Claude, yeah, been using.
Yeah, and I heard a stat this week that I don't know if this is actually a true economic stat, but maybe at least it's generally correct that the entirety of what gets spent on software development between tools and labor is $1 trillion. And these companies are already worth more than that combined. So then that means
Yeah.
you got to go find some other industries because let's say you split that down the middle and it replaces all software engineers, you still
Hmm.
can't live up to the valuations that you're currently at. So you got to find
Yeah.
something else to go expand into. Otherwise,
Hmm.
you just it reminds me of like some of the software companies that raised money in like the 2010s where like they'd be valued at 10 billion and the incumbent player was $1 billion and had been around for 30 years and you're like, so this market's just going to grow by 10x? Like how are you going to
Yeah.
justify this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Rubber meets the road at some point, or maybe it never does in this industry. I don't freaking know.
Yeah.
Who
But
knows?
I mean, it has to at some point. It has to, you know, come down to earth at some point.
Oh, my favorite
But I think,
story
go. Yeah, go.
related to this is just about how AI, like everybody thinks is going to do everything. In the
Hmm.
1600s, nutmeg was supposed to be a cure for the plague and also be
Nice.
Viagra and also cure meat so that it didn't go bad. And obviously, it doesn't do
Allspice.
any of those things. But
It doesn't?
nutmeg,
Shoot. Been
Shoot.
misled this whole time.
Yeah. Dang.
it was selling for like some insanely high price. And then of
Wow.
course it just like plummeted once people
Hmm.
realized that it didn't do that. I feel like we're in a bit of a nutmeg moment where it's like, oh yeah, it's just gonna do everything, and then it's like, maybe not.
Yeah, it's like, what
Maybe
does
it's
it
just like a
actually do? Yeah.
yeah.
Nut
Well, what does it
nutmeg moment.
actually do is like
So
the
truly, who can
question that I
say?
have.
Hmm.
Something. Build some stuff. And I mean, that's, going to where the rubber meets the road. Like at some point, like, all right, so companies are all, my own included, are like trying to figure out adoption strategies and how much money we're willing to spend on all this stuff and whatnot. And like where the rubber really meets the road is like, when you do the financial review of this stuff and you look at momentum and you look at how much you build or you look at how much faster or not faster you got and how much these companies want to charge for, and they can just change the price of these tokens whenever they feel like it. Like they just can do whatever they want, basically. Um, like that's where the rubber meets the road because at some point companies are gonna be like, okay, yeah, like we spent, $1 million on this last year. I don't think it was worth $1 million, like what we got. So we're going to pull back and only spend this month, or we got much more efficient with our processes or things like that. Like, or started figuring out the goal of any company on earth is to spend as little as possible on things they don't want to spend money on. So everyone might be going ham on spending money on AI right now, but that's not what it's going to look like when there's a pullback in 3, 4, 5 years or next year
Well,
when these
yeah.
companies are like, look how much we spent in 2026. Nope. Like we need to get
Hmm.
that down.
Well,
And
you know what
yeah,
companies have already started doing is different roles have different token allotments. So like
totally.
so people are choosing jobs based on how many tokens they're allowed to use in their role. Isn't that crazy? So it becomes part
That's
of the
pretty good stuff.
negotiating piece. So it's like, what's my base salary? What are my stock options? And what is my tokens? Like, what token allotment do I get? Like,
Gosh, I
that's
low key kind of hate
legitimately
that.
becoming
Yeah,
part, yeah, a part of like a compensation package,
that
which
makes
is like
sense.
pretty, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty
But
wild.
there's a cost associated with everything, and that kind of like, I wrote this little point on the agenda of just like laying off AI. Like I've already heard of a couple tidbits of like, yeah, we tested this for like a quarter. It's way more expensive than just a human doing the same thing.
Mhm.
And so we just like bailed on it and we're like kind of reassigning roles and things like that. Like there's already, some snippets of that going on. And I feel like it's only going to get worse and worse of just like, oh no, this is AI doing this is way too expensive. Like a human can do this for cheaper than
Mhm.
whatever we're, giving money to Anthropic to do it. So
Yeah,
that'll settle somewhere at some point once the integrations are done. Um, but I just love that sentiment of just like layoffs because AI turns really expensive, and then it's everything's a cycle, and then we just kind of slowly get back to where we started. A
yeah,
more healthy avenue, right?
yeah,
Canary in the coal miner, if that's the right quote or whatever it is,
Yeah,
are they subsidizing it still too? Like, is that
yeah,
price you're paying still subsidized? So when they turn it on to full price, it's like
hmm
3 times more expensive than just hiring and training a person, which would be just hilarious to me. Because like then this would all just be a
yeah,
big nothing burger. Because it's like,
yeah,
cool, you found a slower, more expensive way to do the same thing. Awesome.
yeah.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
and I think there's some companies are going to realize parts of it are like that, and others aren't. But it'll all settle somewhere at some point. Like once these companies can nail their process, but it'll just be interesting to see what that pullback looks like or doesn't look like for you know OpenAI or Anthropic's revenue when companies start actually like they're not willing to just spend whatever it takes kind of money on AI, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And it's a
so
bit, I think like the right posture to have is like AI has definitely proven its utility. Like there is definite utility in AI for teams and for SaaS
totally,
companies like everywhere.
yeah,
But I think the right posture to have is very much a, hey, let's try this and experiment this and see how it can benefit our team to move faster and then go from there instead of like, oh, we can have agents do all this stuff and
yeah,
like rip everything else out and strip our whole company down. And like, I think, yeah, I haven't heard of too many people doing that yet, but like, I can definitely see a lot of people being very gung ho on like transforming everything when, in my opinion, I think it's just going to change very, very quickly. Like everything just changes way too fast that like you can't just change your whole
yeah.
process for like one workflow. It's like it just doesn't work because then you're going to change your process like 6 times a year. And then that process change amount, that amount of time it takes and money it takes to change your processes and workflows and teams around is like the same amount that you would save if you just had humans do it at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay.
But I think that's the thing is like people are going to start being really mindful on token usage, on processing, like,
Mhm.
not overspending. Like that's certainly going to be a very, very real conversation that
Yeah.
is already occurring and will continue to occur. And so like going back of, is there room for this much growth? It's like, oh, geez, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But or maybe it'll just be kind of a cycles of pullbacks and then pushes. Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
guess we'll kind of see where that all shapes out. But I think it's an interesting conversation. Um, Another thing we had noted here. So yeah, so layoffs, like Coinbase had another layoff citing AI.
Yeah.
Of course, in the note, the CEO talked about, non-engineering teams shipping to production. And then of course they had a very untimely big old outage, kind of coming off the backs of that,
Yeah.
which
I
they
forgot about
blamed.
that part.
I don't know what they ended up blaming for it, like
I think there was a
regional
AWS
outage.
in Arizona, and AWS region in Arizona
Yeah,
went down for like a number of hours, and they blamed on that. But there's resiliency
but then
in,
there,
in around
yeah,
like regions and stuff, so that shouldn't have been
of
enough to take
course,
it down, which is pretty hilarious. So
yeah.
no one
So
really
that's what's
knows.
funny.
But I think
Yeah,
what I wanted to highlight in the layoffs talk with the layoffs update, bing, 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 is I think like as we talked about in previous weeks, like how it's like it's not about AI, even though every statement says it is. And I
Mhm.
think that's just becoming like known. Like
Yeah.
everyone knows that,
Like we're not
even
buying
though
it anymore.
every
Yeah.
announcement, even though they know and everyone knows, like it's this all
Yeah.
well known thing. Like, oh, it's not really because of AI. You guys are just saying that. And everyone knows that there's this shared understanding in the whole
Yeah.
tech world that, like, oh, you're saying that, but people continue to still make those announcements and be like, well, because of AI's rapid development. And it's like, no, it's not. Like,
No,
you
it's not. It's
overhired,
like
you
you
over-indexed, you
bloat.
took
Yeah.
a risk and it didn't pay off. And it's like,
Yeah.
that's what's
It's like just
crazy
say
to
you're
me is
bloated.
just like,
Yeah.
but it's like this shared thing now. I think when we initially started
Yeah.
talking about it like a couple months ago, it was like people are still buying into this. AI is coming for the jobs, and now I think
Yeah.
people are just like, no, it's not. But people are
No, you're just
still
bloated.
using that
Yeah.
as the PR excuse. It's crazy. It's
Hmm.
crazy.
Well, in certain parts of the economy are just slow or have been slow or are slowing
Yeah.
down. Like I'm pretty sure Coinbase is very tied to the price of Bitcoin, which is
Mhm.
down
Gotta think so.
20% year over year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So there we
well, of
go. Yeah.
course, if it's down and then there's less people trading, then you're making less money off those trades, and so your revenue is just not growing at the same pace that it was. I think a lot of these are like that, like Block, like Square,
Yeah.
uh,
Hmm.
Hmm.
consumer. I don't know if anybody I pay attention to this because I like economics, but like consumer sentiment, like how people feel about the economy, is the worst that it's ever been in like the recording of it since the 1980s. People
Oh wow.
feel very bad about the economy. So of course, they're probably buying less stuff and then there's less transactions on Square. Therefore, Block lays people off. Nothing to do with
Mm-hmm.
AI. It's just a
Yeah.
slower time in the
Yeah.
Uncertainty
industry that
and
they're in.
yeah. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty wild. It's
But yeah, but
yeah.
also me
It's
like what
pretty funny.
juxtapose that with the S&P just hitting like another all-time high like a week ago, whenever it was. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
what are we doing? Like what like
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
world doesn't make any sense. Like
the
Yeah.
sentiment is at the lowest it's been, S&P hitting all-time highs, and just like, like what are we doing? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Imagine though if you're a venture backed company, right? And you have this board that you have to go talk to, right? And you just make this announcement. You're like, hey guys, with AI, bro, we can get rid of half the company, okay? And we'll be even more productive than we were before. Think about that. Like they're foaming at the mouth, like, oh my gosh, like what profits are going to be through the roof. And that's like way more bullish than going to the board and being like, revenue's down and like it's not looking too good because the economy's not doing well. And we hired way too many people in the last like 5 years and we're making
Yeah, you
cuts.
got to
It's
everything. You got
like,
to spin everything, right?
you got to
Yeah.
spend everything to be the AI, man. They're keeping their boards happy and their investors happy, baby.
But if the
Let's
AI
go.
doesn't deliver like we're kind of talking about, then at some point the chickens are going to come home to roost and it's
Yeah.
going to, the emperor with no clothes is going to be revealed. It's like
Yeah.
you didn't hit those growth metrics, you didn't hit those profit metrics, and your product sucks and like stuff doesn't
Yeah.
work because you just threw the AI at it. But
Yeah.
I agree with your point earlier, Matt, of like you are just integrating it and like I use it in a bunch of my different workflows now
Hmm.
sparingly, like where it's actually helpful. And this whole
Yeah.
narrative of like, oh, it's just going to replace people and agents. You'll have a swarm of agents instead of employees. It just doesn't. I don't know.
It's
It
just
doesn't make sense.
it's overemphasized. Yeah, and that's like realistically on the same with me on the floor. I haven't figured out how to like replace whole flows with it yet, but I have figured out how to automate some stuff, and I have figured out how to integrate it into portions of my workflow to get, inspiration or ideas or like things like that, or get me out of a rut. Like that's cool, but it's not building entire features, or anything like that. Like, I mean, it can. I guess you can prototype something. It's not great. Like, it's not anything I would really use, but
Yeah.
uh, I don't know.
Yet.
That's just the realism of it. Yet,
I did. I
Uh,
did vibe code interact, and like
mm,
it
how'd that go?
roughly functions, and like took
Yeah.
a really long time. And I'm sure if it had any sort of usage, it would just immediately break. But it is possible, and I think that's like what people are going nuts about. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I did 3 prompts and I built this whole product," and it's like,
Hmm.
It's kind of like it technically works, but I don't think that's the right approach to it. I don't think you can just be like, oh, remake this thing. It has to be more surgical and precise in terms of how it actually gets you. At least in my workflow, that's how it goes. Um, but speaking of
Mhm.
people overdoing it, Matt, you had on this agenda, or I don't know if this is actually overdoing it, but Intercom becoming Fin AI.
Yes, this is breaking news. Hit the siren.
Hold
Breaking
on,
news.
hold on. Drum joke. What is a drum joke?
It's a snare roll or something, isn't it? Or no, is it a kind of it's like that?
Okay,
I
that's
mean, you
not
can hit it, we can
breaking
find out.
All right,
news.
that's our new breaking news
Maybe
signal.
transition 5.
There we
Oh,
go.
that's
That's
good.
good.
All
All right,
right.
ready?
Okay.
Here, ready? Get ready. Get
Okay.
ready.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay. Hold on.
Breaking. Okay, okay, okay. Hold on. Ready? Breaking news.
No, it's good.
Intercom.
That's it. Just one sound.
That's awesome.
That's good
So
stuff.
just so everyone knows, we're recording this on May 12th, and I just want to let you all know that today Intercom has announced that they have completely rebranded and are now Fin.ai. Now, if you're unfamiliar, Fin is Intercom's AI product within Intercom that is their AI chatbot product. They have now rebranded the entire company to be Fin.ai. I have my take on it, but I'm very interested to hear your guys' gut reaction to this breaking news.
Intercom was such a strong brand, though. Like, and everyone knew Intercom.
Everyone
God,
knew
it's
Intercom.
I'm so intrigued by like I understand the move,
Hmm.
uh, but yeah, I don't really know what my I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what my reaction is, but I see they made a website with dark mode and made it all,
Yeah.
big serif, small
Yes.
sans serif kind of
Yes.
dealio here as I
Yes.
peruse.
Yeah.
Um, and that's great and all, but that's
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 great.
that's
It's an awesome
I
take.
mean, it's I don't know. Intercom was such a strong
Yeah.
brand. I guess they
Yeah.
really want to make sure that people know that they're going into the next
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
the new age.
Josh, gut
So,
reaction?
My gut reaction, is that
Hmm.
I've been trying really hard recently, or maybe not trying to, but I feel this odd playing in my head of trying to stay connected to historical patterns and overlaying it onto what's happening now, where I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Like, it seems like this is a good example of that, where we've seen this in our time running Interact. We've seen companies go full rebrand on a whim, and it
Yeah.
never works. It
Yeah.
always completely falls
yeah.
flat
Hmm.
because it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, well, you just spent. I mean, Intercom's been around at least as long as Interact, I think. And it's like,
Yes,
okay, you're
yeah.
just
When was
gonna
Intercom
throw
founded?
that all away and start over. Even if you have momentum on that new product, it just historically doesn't work. And
Hmm.
so that's what immediately came to mind for me. I'm like, yeah, I could tell you based on historical patterns, that's not going to work. And
Yeah.
it's the beginning of the end for them. They'll end up, kind of petering off once all the hype dies off and people realize that customers hate AI chatbots and just incessantly ping talk to a person until the AI shuts up.
Yeah.
And then they'll
Yeah, I
regret
mean,
it and try to roll it back. And by that point, they'll have spent so much money on it that it will just be like this weird dichotomy. And then they'll try to have both brands. And I just think that
Yeah.
we went through a very long, arduous period of trying to just integrate everything new that we did into the Interact brand instead of just starting a new company. And I fully stand by that because historically, that's always what works. So that's my gut reaction to this. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'd put money on it not working out. Not like a ton of money, but like a decent amount.
Yeah. My reaction to this was split between the both of you. I also lamented the brand, Ethan, because I was just like, when you've worked a very long amount of years building a brand and you become just a household name in the SaaS world to where everyone just knows Intercom. Like you just have to say the
Yeah.
word Intercom and people know exactly what you're
Like, oh
talking
yeah,
about.
Intercom.
It's crazy to me that you would want to throw that away and try to
Yeah.
pivot the name to something new. Like, however, on the product side, I'm not going to pretend to know their business plan or like what their plan is with Fin and like where they're going to take it. And they're probably going to get into a lot of other stuff than just help desk would be my guess. So I'm not going to pretend to
Yep.
know what that is, but it does feel like it's just like, I don't know. It's just like throwing away this brand that they worked so hard to build. And I'm like, why? Why? Why not just integrate like your AI feature set into this if that is such a big thing for your company? Like, my only guess is they're planning on getting into other stuff that has nothing to do with help desk. I want to get away from the Intercom name. That's the only thing I can think of. But yeah, Josh, I agree. I always think like, I think customer trust is very, very hard to gain. And once you have it and you become a name, and not only a name, but a trusted name and like one of the go-to names for being like help desk for SaaS, um, that's hard for me to rationalize and it doesn't sit well. Yes,
Yeah.
John.
Go
I
ahead,
have a
Josh.
guess on the why, and just based on our collective experience starting a software company together, I think that people get into software because of the enjoyment of the rapid feedback loop of I built a thing, people liked it, sweet, it's growing. And in traditional software the last 5 or 6 years, that's not been the case. It's been very much like you're building for the future and the current demand is lower, and you can slowly integrate AI features and that helps a little bit, but it's still just generally slow. And my guess is they just got tired of that and they're just like, we want to go do something that's more exciting. And so they pivoted to this, which it could work, but like it's a huge gamble when you have built
Yeah.
something that is so reliable. Also, like Intercom is literally the word of what the product is, and what the
Yeah.
hell is Fin?
Yeah. And like, yeah,
But it's
I
three
love.
letters.
Yeah, but it's 3 letters, and it's they got the .ai, whatever domain name and everything. I've been perusing their website a little bit. Like, I understand that they're pitching. They're pitching kind of this whole idea. They put in like the faces and everything by their world class team of AI experts, which you just
Mhm.
lose me immediately with that when you're trying to like nobody knows who any of these people are. Like, let's not. Uh, but I like there's so much information on this web page. It's almost like it almost feels like, hey man, like no dude, like yeah, hey man, like oh no, it's great. I promise it's great. Like I promise. Like Anthropic says you should buy this instead of build your own. Like I promise. And
Mm.
they have this complicated like rocket structure. I'm like, dude, oh man, I don't know. I think the whole value prop of Intercom was its simplicity and the little thing in the bottom right corner of your site, and they had some pretty easy metrics of this and that, and like I don't know. This is kind of goes back to where the rubber meets the road. Like all power to them. I'm very curious to see where this nets out. Uh, but naturally, I'm cautious to say that this was that they absolutely like nailed this whole
Yeah.
idea. But abandoning, I don't know. Yeah, it just abandonment to me never seems to go well. I'm trying to think of examples where someone had abandoned, you know,
Yeah.
like a
I
very
do lament
established
the
brand
brand.
abandoned and,
Yeah.
and went another way. Um, I'm also curious to just general intercom users like that. Are they even aware of this? Think about like your more like small business users and stuff. I don't know.
All right.
Uh,
Can I play
interesting
the
stuff.
bullish take right now? Just like completely flip sides and just
Totally.
go bullish.
Ooh,
Okay, so
okay.
remember how we've been talking about like niches and AI niches and like models instead of just being these all for one models,
Mm,
they'll just break down and be these commoditized things. Like what if this is their play on that? They have their own customer service model and they're going to sell that as a service because maybe they
Yeah.
heard whispers like, hey, it's so easy for people to make chatbots and that's like the new thing. We need to go deep into
Go make
what
the
is
best
it that
one.
makes it function. We need to make the best model for it. And then it's just like Claude where you pay a subscription to use their model in your own chatbot UI interface. That's the bullish take, right? That's the super bullish take. They become the go-to for anything article, customer service related AI model subscription service. They drop the
Yeah.
UI and don't even care about it anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the bullish
they're
take.
they're clearly the authority on like all this stuff, like
Yeah.
as a company, like clearly.
Yeah.
And so I think that like I could certainly get on board with that bullish take too. Like that's literally
Yeah.
exactly what we were just talking about. Like,
Yeah.
so I certainly see that.
Hmm.
Um, and if anyone is going to make this work, it's them. So I'd just be very curious. Like, you know, if they
Yeah.
can nail an AI chatbot, that's obviously extremely valuable.
Hmm.
And like, you know, if anyone's going to do it, I guess it'd be them. We can talk about
Yeah.
the abandoning the brand stuff all we want, but
Yeah.
we'll see. You know,
Yeah.
The
Josh.
thought in my head was literally the opposite, which was most of these companies are private, so you can't do this. But I would put together a bundle of companies that are making their own models and short it.
intriguing.
Because I think they just waste a ton of money, and it's not
Yeah.
Well,
possible.
that's
like,
again going back to
Yeah.
the fact that's
it's just
what's
not
Yeah.
interesting.
possible.
It's like,
Yeah. And
does it financially
yeah.
come out on top? Yeah,
And I'll be honest, as someone who has built chatbots and vibe coded chatbots, ChatGPT works in 99% of cases for 99% of for consumers. Like you
yeah,
can feed it documents and it will spit out answers for you and answer in the most eloquent way possible. And that's
yeah,
just ChatGPT. That's not even getting like a specialized model for anything.
Also, as soon as you build a model, you constantly have to be updating it because ChatGPT and
Yes.
Anthropic and Gemini are updating theirs every 4 days. And I
Yeah.
would throw Meta in there too. And they're spending hundreds of billions of dollars a year. So you're gonna it's just
trying to
like
go
it's
figure it
just a
out.
money suck. It's like buying a boat.
Yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna go sign up for Fin.ai and we'll
Yeah,
see how it works.
we'll see how it goes.
I'm
Yeah.
bullish, dude. I'm bullish. I turned
That being
around.
said, we're gonna start using it.
Yeah, for sure
That being
will.
said, it's kind of sick to have a boat. So you know,
I mean,
take
that's
that
like
Also,
going
it
to our
is sick to
Intercom
have a
chat.
boat. So it's just so contradictory.
let's just be honest. At the end of the day, it's like
That is, what's we laugh about it,
boats
but
are
that is
cool.
kind of how I feel about this stuff. Is like I have my like gut like reaction to stuff where I'm just like I just don't know. I'm pretty pessimistic about it. I just don't think from what I've seen this makes sense. But then I've also been so surprised by a lot of the stuff that's come out in the last like 5 months or this year, just with all the rapid development that I'm just like, I wouldn't be surprised by anything anymore. Like I really am not. So
Yeah.
I try to keep an open mind about it. But yeah, it
Well,
is
yeah,
pretty funny.
that's what's kind of interesting to me because it's like we could talk all we want, we could digest it, but at the end of the day, like it's like, oh, it's kind of sick to have a boat, no? You're like, yeah, you're right. We gotta take that boat, like
Yeah.
whatever. Who cares? Like, let's go see what happens, brother.
Yeah.
Like, you know. So
Uh,
yeah,
so
curious to see
funny.
where that goes. Um, moving on. Let's see. Oh, Micron with their 10x market cap increase. Josh, you write this one down, or Matt, you write this one
Yeah,
down?
yeah.
I wrote this one down.
Because I was looking at like the last time these companies were worth this much in like 1999, because a lot of them haven't been around since then, and they're past those peaks. And so I'm like, well, it's either a bubble or this starts to deliver serious economic value because they're valued at such a crazy high. Like if you look at the stock of Micron, SanDisk, it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
it is
Unbelievable. And I'm just
unbelievable.
like,
Yeah,
in my head, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are these companies that make DDR2 RAM that I used to replace in laptops in the early 2000s,
yeah,
and now they're worth $1 trillion.
Yeah.
it's
Wild.
unbelievable.
So it just kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
puts
This.
a
Yeah.
cap
It's
on
gonna be
everything we've been
interesting to
talking
see.
about of like
Yeah.
either it goes great and that all comes to fruition, or the market cap of Micron is 100 billion next year, and it drops by 90%. That's my
Yeah. These
Yeah.
companies like were just so
Mean a trillion.
perfectly placed like for this moment to take advantage with it. They have all the suppliers, they have all the supply chain set up. They literally have like everything, manufacturing, everything set up and established. So there truly is like a limited number of players in this game to match the amount of demand for compute that's happening. So you need more computer parts.
Yeah.
That being said, my reaction is kind of like that can't go on forever. Like there will be a very fast end to this. I think there'll still be big players because they're so established. But whenever there's an opportunity, there's people willing to just come in and take a piece of the pie, and I think that's going to happen. Like
Yeah.
a lot. Like the hardware space, I think a lot of people are going to get in the hardware space. A lot.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll see.
Should we end with a fun prediction, just because then we can have these predictions out there in the world, and then if any of them ever comes
Yeah,
true,
put our
then
name
we'll
on
act
it.
like they were all true.
Yeah. And if we make like 1,000, at
Yeah,
least
just
one
keep
should
making
come
it.
true.
Just keep making
Yeah.
it. All right. Prediction on if the bubble pops, what will cause it to pop? Like, what's the headline?
don't
The
even
whole
know.
AI
Wow.
bubble. The
Yeah.
whole AI bubble.
Just like the whole AI
Oh, I
bubble
have
where
an answer.
Micron drops by 60% in a day. What's the
All
headline?
right, you go
that
first, Matt.
does
I
it?
have
Yeah,
it.
Matt.
I have it. The US government shuts down the production of data centers in the United States.
How will they even do that?
Legislation.
Just say you can't build data centers anymore?
Yeah, like on the local level, it's happening. Like people don't want them in their towns and stuff like that.
Oh, well, yeah.
And so I think like red tape legislation and people moving out of the US, I think that would cause it. I think that would cause it. I think that to me, that's where I think the demand is coming from. And I think the second it's like, yeah, you're not doing it. Now I'm not saying that will happen, but I'm saying that's what would
Hey,
cause
put
it to
his name
pop.
on it.
I think that would be like a massive, sharp nosedive in demand or like future anticipation of demand, I think.
Nice. All right, good clip in case that happens.
Yeah.
What do you, Ethan? Do you have
Heard
a
it here
thought?
first. I honestly don't know. Like, I might take the position that it's just going to be a slow bleed, and then just like you just kind of. The thing is, it's like none of these companies are Well, okay, the legacy companies are public, but like OpenAI and Anthropic aren't public, so they could juice up their valuations as much as people will give them money to raise at a certain valuation. So like until they're public companies, I don't know what tanks them. I mean, like,
Oh,
they don't
wait, were we
have to
talking about
report
AI
or
bubble? Were we talking about the AI bubble as a whole or like the hardware bubble? Which one?
The AI bubble.
well,
as a
any
whole.
of them, but probably the AI bubble as a
Oh,
whole.
then I want to
No.
revise my answer.
Okay,
That's okay.
Well, let Ethan finish, and then we'll circle
But
back.
I have to think about this one a little bit more. Maybe I'll come back in the next episode, think about this a little bit more, because
We'll just have a new
like,
prediction every week for the
We're
same
gonna do
question.
every
this
week,
the whole
yeah.
time.
And so we can clip whichever one turns out
Yeah.
to be right. Like,
That's what everyone else does.
is it just like a slow pullback to normalcy, or it's like when every tech company went crazy over COVID, and then they just kind of all slowly pulled back to like, you're like, oh yeah, that's, if you drew a line and just skipped that whole part, you're like, oh, there's a very normal, healthy growth line, not this whole like vertical graph that you just see on the SanDisk and Micron stock. If you go look at it, like, just skip that whole hump. Like, I wonder if that's even just a correction of, it's just, the roller coaster goes up and it comes back down, but it comes back down a little bit higher than it went up. Like, I don't know. To me, maybe it's just not as dramatic. So there's my first take, but I wish I had a more creative take, because that's not very fun. Just like a slow, undramatic pullback, and then we just kind of go back
That's
to
an
normal.
accurate take. That's an accurate take. I like it.
Potentially.
I know. I kind of
most
hate. I
likely
kind of
be
hate how
true.
down the middle that is. I know. I hate how moderate that is. I need a spicier take. I'll think about it. And next week come back with some spicy, because it'd be fun to predict like what's the occurrence. Like Lehman Brothers collapsing. You're like, well, what's the occurrence that like triggers it? That's what I think is. That's what would be fun to
that's
predict.
fun.
So
That'd be
I'll
fun.
think about that one. Like, what's the equivalent or something that triggers the pullback? But no, the moderate take, unfortunately, is that it just kind of, the roller coaster goes up, comes back down, and then settles a little bit higher than it was. And that's that, but
Josh, what's yours?
I think that if one company, even if it's a relatively smaller company, breaks away from the pack and just says, we tried implementing AI and it didn't really help that much, that will do it.
Like one big report from like Google
One big
or
report,
something.
and
That's
then you
just
see
like
more and
it.
more
Yeah.
reports of like financially it didn't really make sense or something.
Yep.
You know, like
Yeah.
Yep. Because that's
I like
calls into
that.
relatively what
question the whole
happened.
structure.
That's relatively what happened with the whole software stocks going way up and then coming back down. Is like one person reported lower earnings, and then 3 months later they all reported lower earnings. So I wonder
Yeah.
if it'll end up playing out the same way.
Okay, can I revise my
What's your
answer?
updated?
Because
Yeah,
I
what's
thought
your
you were
updated?
talking. Yeah, I thought you were talking about the hardware. Like I thought you were talking about
Well,
like
yeah,
SanDisk.
hardware. The data center
Okay.
stuff is very real. Like you just
Yeah,
can't build
yeah. I
data
thought that's
centers,
what you
so
were
there's
talking
nowhere
about.
to
Okay,
go.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So the AI bubble as a
That's
whole,
reasonable.
I think it's going to be an event similar to like the Cambridge Analytical stuff, where we find out that all these models harvested all of our data and sold them to foreign like assets or something like that, and all of our data is just out there. Like all of our data is just like, and whether
But
like if the
isn't that
model
already
took it and
that's
just
like already
like
true
did
though?
something with it. I mean, it's partly true, but like
To an
I
nth
think there would
degree.
be concrete evidence that like there's a massive like every single person, citizen in America had all their data like leaked,
Oh,
and
I
it was
see.
like an
Okay.
AI that like caused it, and then I think everyone would be like distrust would it would just like be nasty. That's what I think.
That's a good one. That's a spicy one. That's a good spice
Oh
level.
yeah, dude, I'm all about spicy.
We
I
just
got
need
more,
we
so
just need a
I'm ready
good
for I'm
scandal.
ready for the next weeks because I got
Next
more
week.
like hot takes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
It's so
Is
fun.
there
It's like sci-fi. It's like sci. It's like thinking of
it is
sci-fi
sci-fi,
like
yeah.
episodes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a natural pullback where like this isn't something that everyone's on board with? Like the whole sentiment around AI like isn't great. Like out in the public square, not in the tech world. Like can it only get so high because people are just like so turned off by it and its effects and how it's an excuse for every layoff? Like that alone might be starting to cripple the structure a little bit. Where it's not like, oh,
Yeah.
it's not some technology where everyone like even the internet caused a .com burst and that's like been the greatest modern invention ever.
Yeah.
uh like I'm it's just an
No,
interesting
I
thought of
agree.
just like
No, I
how
agree.
large and big can it be
Yeah.
when not the general sentiment isn't great, where it's
Yeah.
been
Like
abused already.
yeah. It's very hot in the tech world, right? If you're in San Francisco, it's like, oh, crazy.
Totally.
But
Yeah.
like average American, like I don't think cares very much. Now I will say I thought that was going to be the case until the narrative that AI is taking jobs has not stuck. It has not stuck as much as people have been trying to do it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's working. I don't think it's stuck. I don't think people really buy it,
Yeah.
which is very interesting that that hasn't stuck. The reason why I brought up the data center stuff is because that narrative is one I've actually seen more on my timeline is people complaining about their data centers.
Mm.
They're talking about the noise of data centers. I've seen some viral videos go
Water and
viral of people
all that.
living on top of data centers and the noise. And then people are like, that's an AC unit. That's not a data center. Relax. And so
Yeah.
I've seen like all this stuff. And like that narrative, I've been hearing more of the jobs narrative, where the jobs one is even probably the more scarier one than the data center one. So it's like,
Yeah.
because nothing has stuck out as like that, I'm like, maybe just people as a whole don't really care. Like I think right now people are just trying to like afford their stuff with the money that they have and like are more worried about
Yeah.
like war and prices of the goods that they buy. I think is like what people
Yeah.
care about more.
Totally.
It's just pretty
It's just
crazy.
like out in the real world, like out in the day to day. Like, my favorite like
Yeah.
fun fact to kind of bring up whenever we're talking about stuff like this of just like the juxtaposition between like, your bubble or circles or tech circles and like reality is like the median American takes 0 flights a year. Like 0.
Yeah.
Does not get on an
Mhm.
airplane. The median American, right? So like
Uh,
the person in the middle is at 0
yep.
flights. And so
Yep.
everything about airlines, everything is always over accentuated. It's always whatever. But like the median American doesn't get on an airplane like every year except 1 year, I think, in the past, whatever. And so it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, what's happening on the ground, what's happening in our like this ethereal like world are often very, very disconnected
Yeah.
of just like what people care about when they don't care about. And I think
Right.
you hit it, Matt, of like it's like, yeah, no, people look at their gas prices, people look at like their cost of goods, people look at their grocery
Like,
bill
I don't
being
care about AI.
4x to what it is. It's like,
Yeah,
dude,
why
AI
would
is
I
just like
care?
whatever. I don't care about
Whatever, dude.
whatever news. I don't care about
Yeah.
Intercom,
Yeah.
switching to Fin. That doesn't affect my
Yeah.
life. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
so
speaking
that's
of
where I think
airlines,
everything gets overemphasized.
we forgot to talk about the biggest news. Rest in
Oh,
peace, Spirit Airlines.
R.I.P.
Oh, R.I.P.
My favorite
R.I.P. to
airline.
Spirit.
R.I.P.
Never
Got
flew
Rip
the
Spirit,
while I'm
dude.
flying.
never took a Spirit. Did either of you take a Spirit flight?
No,
I don't think I ever
I've never
did.
taken one.
I've never
I'd
taken one.
literally
Yeah, that
rather
shows
walk.
where we position ourselves.
As a
Yeah, it
fear of
never felt
flying
worth it to me.
expert, I
Oh
just
yeah,
don't trust an
you were
airline where
not.
you have to like
No,
pay
not
to
that
use the
guy.
emergency exit. I don't really like that. Like I've heard they take
think-
tolls at the emergency exit when you try to.
The biggest
It's a bidding
casualty.
war to get on.
Oh, did you get the
route.
add-on
just to get-
package for $5 to be able to use the
You have to
slide,
wait
the evacuation
get off
slide? You're
last.
not on the
Yeah.
list.
I guess you're burning.
I think
Gosh, that's a good joke. I should use that one. Gosh.
the biggest casualty here is truly for my 4-year-old who doesn't get to see bright yellow airplanes anymore.
Yeah.
Whenever we hang out at the In and Out by the airport. So that's, can people just think of the children? That's all. Like, what are we doing? Like, think of the
Hey,
kids.
bring back more fun airplane
it's
colors.
just really
Can we just talk
upsetting.
about that for a second?
Yeah, let's get some better liveries up
Or
there.
like the
Get some
Hello Kitty
cool
ones
ass.
Let's
in
get them
Japan.
cool airplanes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh?
These are
What's that?
sweet. Let's get a
Like
panda
the Hello
airplane.
Kitty ones in Japan.
Oh,
Yeah,
see, that's
what was
awesome.
that? Not Jow. Who did that?
There was a Marvel
Eva?
one too,
Eva
I think,
Air.
for like
Eva Air.
Yeah.
oh,
doing
Eva
that.
Air.
Eva Air was doing the Hello
See,
Kitty
that's
ones.
cool.
Yeah,
Or was it
that's
A&A? Oof. Could be both, to be honest. There's some fun ones out there. I saw an LA-28 Delta airplane the other day at LAX, just fully decked out in LA-28. Yeah, it was
Oh,
sick.
that's cool.
Wow,
There's
we
a-
have
I-
that, but no World Cup stuff. That's cool. That's awesome. That's
So
pretty
that's a
cool.
whole other conversation.
Yeah,
those
we'll
prices
talk.
keep
We'll save that
dropping
for
now.
next week.
We'll save that later. Those prices keep coming down. Yeah, FIFA and the IOC competing to be the two worst entities on the planet. They're trying their hardest, both of them. So for another episode. Anyways, all right. I think that was a good chat today.
That was a fantastic chat.
Good pod.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great pod.
Until next time, great pod. We'll see what else comes across the wire. Changes every week.
Yeah.
Thanks
for listening, everyone, to all of our audience. We love you. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to
We love all you.
follow
all
us on
million of
all
you.
socials. Yeah.
Every single one of them.
You guys are our day ones. We respect
guys are-
you. Appreciate
we
your
just-
support.
We can write some handwritten notes, probably. Yeah. So, looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
That is nice.
All right, good
Corey,
stuff.
if you're still listening, text us in a group chat.
Yeah,
Thank you.
text me back. Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, thanks, guys.
Cheers, gentlemen. See ya.
Cheers.
Peace.